Hello friends. Now, just recently one of my subscribers challenged me to rank all of Elton John's title tracks from his 30 solo studio albums. So I'm going to do that today. First thing to say is that there are only 18 title tracks to look at. 12 of the albums have titles, but they don't have tracks that match that title, if you see what I mean. So we should remember there are some excellent Elton John albums that don't have title tracks, such as Songs from the West Coast, Blue Moves, Tumbleweed Connection. Great albums, very enjoyable albums, but no song of those titles. So let's get going. At number 18, we're going with The Big Picture. Now, there's a lot of tracks I enjoy on this album, but I don't enjoy The Big Picture itself as a track. It opens very beautifully, actually, and the verse is very enjoyable. And if Elton had continued in that vein, I think this would be one of my favourite title tracks. But it does go into a very jerky, uneven, unexpected chorus. The sort of light and shade, gentle and quite sort of robust in that refrain, which is not terribly pleasant to listen to. I don't think, not one of Elton's greatest. So sorry, fans of that one, you're at number 18. At number 17, I'm going with The Diving Board. Now, this is an interesting song. It's quite a sort of jazzy arrangement, a bit of a sort of New Orleans feel almost, sort of traditional jazz sort of instruments being used on here. It's quite a slow burn. It's not unpleasant at all. I just wouldn't rate it as highly as some of the others. So at 16, I'm going with Leather Jackets. Bit of a mixed offering, this album from Elton. Perhaps a difficult time for him. It's not that bad a track, but it's just not particularly exciting. I still quite enjoy listening to it. And then at 15, I'm going with The Fox. Again, a lot of good material on this album. Perhaps the title track, not one of the strongest. It closes the album in a fairly pleasant way, but it's just not as good as some of the other material. Now, I'm cheating a bit on the next one because I'm going with Duets, which I've recently reviewed. Now, on here, of course, this isn't a solo album, and strictly speaking, the track is called Duets for One, so I am being a bit sneaky here. But it was a fresh track on here. It's quite a pleasant listen, actually. I quite enjoy this one. It's sort of a ballad reflecting on, just sort of being on your own. And if you don't know this track, it's not that well known, really. It is worth a listen to. Let me know below what you think. And then at number 13, I'm going to Captain Fantastic. Again, as we know, some great tracks on here. Maybe the opening track, which is also the title track, not the strongest one on here. I'd probably say that's Someone Saved My Life Tonight and maybe Curtains. But it's still a strong track. Now, I can hear you reaching for your keyboards already, because how could he possibly rate Captain Fantastic lower than, at number 12, Victim of Love? Yes, I know. But got to say, it's not a great album, as we know. But the title track is actually pretty decent. It's definitely the standout track from the album. And it's the sort of thing you would find on another greatest hits collection, I think, if Elton did one. So from a rough disco era, rough disco album, that is quite a decent track and does bear listening to again. So we're now going to number 11, and I'm going for Empty Sky. Elton's first genuine solo studio album, as we know. This is the opening track as well, kind of a Rolling Stones sort of feel to it, and for somebody just starting out, pretty strong track, and we know that Elton was very happy with how this turned out. So we get to the top 10 now. Number 10 is going to be The Captain and the Kid. Now, I do enjoy this album. This, of course, was kind of the second autobiographical album by Elton and Bernie. And The Captain and the Kid kind of updates the story from Captain Fantastic. It's an attractive track. Very interesting lyrics as well from Bernie on this one. So that's number 10. Number 9, I'm going for Made in England. Now, this is kind of an ironic track in a way. It's not a sort of jingoistic track or a jingoistic lyric from Bernie. It's more on the fact that, how difficult it was growing up in a rather intolerant England. Hopefully things have changed there now. So it is sort of Elton and Bernie's sort of comment on sort of bigotry in a way. So well done for them for highlighting that in that song. Now, number 8, cheating a bit again here as well. I'm going for Friends, the soundtrack album. There's two delightful tracks on this, Friends and Michelle's Song. Very early in Elton's career, the early 1970s. Both of them beautiful ballads, and Friends is a lovely one to listen to. And if you don't know this music, it's definitely worth checking that one out. Now, number 7, I'm going for Too Low for Zero. Again, quite a favourite album, this one of mine. Too Low for Zero, it kind of uses sort of electronic music quite a lot. And perhaps when you first listen to it, you might not be that impressed, but it is quite catchy, quite infectious. Elton used to do this one live, doesn't really do it anymore. But again, it's an interesting part of his career. Okay, number 6 now, we're going to Sleeping with the Past. Lots of good material on this one as well. Don't go sleeping with the past, look to the future. It's a nice sort of rocky number, this one. A bit of sort of a nostalgic feel to it as well. Kind of Elton paying tribute to some of the musicians who have influenced him over the past. So that's a fine track. And at number 5, I'm going with the absolutely beautiful ballad, romantic ballad, Breaking Hearts. A very delicate song, one of Elton's most inventive and most beautiful melodies, actually. Maybe not the greatest album he's done, but that's certainly a lovely song and deserves to be heard even more. Okay, top 4 now. What's left? Where are we going to go with these top 4 title tracks? Well, number 4 is going to be Wonderful Crazy Night. Now, when I mention this album, quite a few people sort of write and criticise it, say it's not that good. I really enjoy this album, and Wonderful Crazy Night is just an exciting rock upbeat song. It's just a bit of fun. Yeah, it really rocks. It's got a great beat. It makes you feel better listening to it. What more could you want from a rock song? So I really enjoy that, almost as much as Looking Up on there, which is another fine song. Now we come to 3 Elton John classics now. What order are we going to go in? Well, at number 3, I'm going to go with the wonderful Madman Across the Water. Perhaps one of Elton's most inventive tracks, I think, in terms of the melody. It's got these fascinating lyrics from Bernie. We know it's about some sort of asylum, people visiting someone in an asylum, and who really should be in the asylum, the person there or the people visiting. Elton's written this sort of haunting, fascinating, and brilliant production, and a fantastic performance from Elton on this one. So that's my number 3. Now, only 2 tracks left, but just to change it up a bit, I'm going to go for number 2, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Now, I've spoken at length about this song before, and I won't go on too much now, except to say, it's a magnum opus for Elton John. It is so radical in its structure. It's got fascinating words. It's a wonderful performance. And of course, it's iconic for him. He's calling his closing tour after this song, and it's kind of been around throughout his career. It's also a great tune, isn't it? And a great performance. So that only leaves one more, and number 1 is The One. From an interesting album, again, a slightly mixed album, this is just a beautiful and powerful love song. A great melody from Elton. It works. You can listen to it over and over again. It's still beautiful. It's got a lovely chord structure through there. Fairly simple words, but what do you need in a love song other than some simple words, a great tune, and a great performance? So that's my all-time favourite title track. So, 18 to choose from there. I've just bent the rules a little bit on some of those. What's your order? Would you like to send in your list of all of them, or just your top 5 or top 10, whatever you've got time for? Put them below and I'll do a follow-up video looking at your comments and suggestions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we're still standing.